One day it happens. You lose a job or a career or a relationship or someone close to you, or the kids are leaving home, or you're approaching retirement age, or whatever, at any age. It's a moment when you, like so many others, and me too, are thinking, now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Every day, now what? What am I going to do? What's next? Here's the thing. That is the opportunity of a lifetime if you answer the question. Literally, so many people, including myself, have transformed our lives into something ideal for us because we answered the damn question. And in this video, I'm going to give you 6 easy ways to do that, to find a new way forward that you need in your life that's ideal for you.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward podcast with your host, Paul Long.
So the first time I answered the question, now what? I did a really half-assed job of it. All I thought about, and I think this is so true for so many people, is I was very superficial, and I just thought, well, what can I succeed at? How can I make a living? What am I good at? What can I do? And you know what? I came up with a good answer in that respect because I did succeed at it, but it was never right for me. I didn't go deep enough, high enough, aware enough, and I didn't think about my whole life. So jump ahead to when, our youngest son was a senior in high school, getting ready to go off to college. We knew that both boys were going to go out there in life. They weren't coming back, good. That's what you want. I said, I got to do a better job this time. I got to go deeper. So every day, Kim and I were going, now what, now what, now what, now what? And it's like, this time I'm really going to answer that question. And so these upcoming 6 tips, and then I'm going to give you 2 bonus things of things that help push me through it, allow you to go to that place, put in that kind of effort. None of this stuff is that hard. I mean, it's challenging sometimes, and maybe it's even something you don't want to talk about or think about, but you need to think about. But the results are all worth it because now I'm living the life that's right for me. I made the right choice this time. So let's get going. So here's number 1. Consider this an opportunity, not a problem. It's an opportunity, and probably it's time for you to reconsider yourself and your future and what you want and what you don't want. And now you're being kind of driven and forced into doing it. That's a good thing. Now, number 2, pause. Take it easy. Take a step back in order to take a step forward. Sometimes when we're faced with this, it's like, okay, I got to figure it out. Oh my God, I don't have any ideas. Oh, well, what about this? Okay, I'll do that. And you know what? You're not really thinking about it. I did that, back in 1989 when I had to make a career decision choice, and I did it like that, and I made the wrong choice. But I did it 15 years ago when I was asking now what, and lo and behold, because I stepped back, I paused. I knew it was going to take some time. I gave myself a break, and I dedicated myself to putting in the effort. Well, what the effort you put in equals the results that you get back. And here's a suggestion. Go ahead and plan that every morning you're going to take 10, 15 minutes before you look at social media or emails or anything like that, when your brain is fresh and clear, and just start thinking about it. Start thinking about anything. You're getting your brain going. You're starting to identify things. You're starting to get some momentum. You're probably going to start getting excited. And then do that same 10 or 15 minutes at night right before you go to sleep. Number 3, gain awareness about yourself. This is the first 2 awareness points. But start thinking about, what do I really want in life? What am I missing in life? What do I really like in life? Now, you can do the list of what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, and what you're not good at. But I'm talking about going deeper. I'm talking about really stepping back in that pause and examining what's fulfilling to you, what gives you purpose and meaning, or where is it lacking? And again, the beauty of your brain is that the more you think about this, the more it becomes front of mind, which neurologically and physiologically actually happens. And you start deciding and discovering the things that you want that, for instance, maybe raising kids, if it's empty nesters, was missing, or the career that you thought was great isn't anymore, whatever. You start discovering those things and you start laying the groundwork for finding what's going to be right for you. Now that leads to the next one, which is awareness of what's going on in the world and what other people are doing. Now, in my situation, I was like, okay, well, people approaching retirement age or in retirement age, what are they doing? What's going on? Part of that was talking to other people, but also listening to experts, doing research on the internet and the like. And here's the thing. Almost everything I assumed about what people were doing in their 50s and 60s and 70s was almost the complete opposite of what I expected. I discovered that there was a major trend of people retiring and being miserable after a year or so of the retirement honeymoon. It was a retirement nightmare, loss of purpose, fulfillment, relevance, meaning, satisfaction, which, by the way, that in and of itself is very telling. Not only that that's not right, but wait a minute, if they're miserable because they don't have purpose, relevance, meaning, fulfillment, that's what I need. Okay, what fulfills me? What would make me relevant? These sometimes aren't easy answers to get, but they're must-have answers. And then, by the way, I also discovered that a lot of people weren't retiring. They were redesigning, reimagining their lives. And that opened up a whole world of possibilities that, especially when I looked at what was going on externally and what I needed, things started to match up. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. And I'm living it. And I'm forever grateful for it. Next is give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to identify and figure out and then design the life that's right for you. What I did is what got in my head is it's my turn. Now, really, any time in life is your turn. But, at this point, it's really worth defining the fact that this is my turn. Because so many of us, whether it's the imposter syndrome, I'm not worthy, or just the fact that society and parents and tradition and marketers tell us, here's the life you're supposed to live, the default life. And a lot of people have been living it. Maybe this asking, now what, is your escape tunnel to get out of the default life and to actually say, damn it, I am going to define the life that's right for me in all respects. Not just how I earn an income, but relationships, health, personal growth, fun and recreation, everything. It's my turn, damn it. And when you have that attitude and you keep with that attitude, along with everything else, you're programming your brain to help you find answers, and you're creating a filter. You're creating a filter that if you get an idea, it's like, no, that doesn't fit my concept of my turn. It in and of itself can be transformative. Okay, number 6, expect answers, ideas, and insights to come out of nowhere. That's right. Because if you're doing the work, if you're doing those 15-minute periods, if you're putting your attention on it, where attention goes, energy and focus flows. What happens is that, and this has probably happened to you, all of a sudden you get this insight out of nowhere. Or you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, wait a minute, what about this? Or somebody's talking about something completely different and it still triggers an insight for you. Well, some people say that's God answering your prayers or the universe being aligned with. Sure, but it's also your brain. Our brains are wired to do that. All the way back to primeval times, it was a survival asset. And what happens is when you're thinking about it a lot, you create new neural pathways, which is like the hard drive of your computer. And then your prefrontal cortex, which is like the Intel processor, starts heating up. This is important. This thing is important. And your reticular activating system, which is like the operating system of the computer, brings all that front of mind, like the expression. That's where it comes from. That's where you get the ideas. That's where you get the insights. Now, the next thing, though, is to note them. And quite frankly, write them down. Start a journal or a list or whatever, so you can start tracking these things and be open to the fact that when you're jotting down that thought that came to you, write some more about it. What do you think about it? All of that is driving you and giving you the answers that you need. Okay, now I'm going to give you 2 bonus techniques to help you do it and keep on doing it and get through the challenge of it, because yeah, it can be kind of hard to do this. So here are 2 things that worked really well for me. Number 1 was I used the power of regret. That's right. So Bronnie Ware, who was a palliative nurse, meaning she dealt with people who were like dying, in Australia, wrote a book, and she did a survey, and there have been other surveys that align with her work, of what were people's biggest regrets on their deathbed. And in every single one of them, the number 1 thing was that I never lived the life that was right for me. I didn't go for it. I just did what I thought I was supposed to do, or I chickened out. So I actually imagined myself on my deathbed in my dying days. I took myself there. It was not pleasant. But man, did that light a fire under my butt, that there was no way that I was going to be on my deathbed with that kind of regret. Now, here's the second thing that's a realization. And again, this helped me really, really, really big time. And it's called choose your hard. So, if you're not in good health, it's hard to get in shape. And if you're, having trouble with your finances, it's hard to get them straightened out. And if you want to change your life, it's hard to change your life. But you know what? If you don't get in good health and you're sick and infirm and in decline, that's harder. If you don't get your finances fixed and you're living in a state of fear and can't do what you need to do, or having things reclaimed from you, that's harder. And if you don't change your life and you live the drip, drip, drip water torture of misery, and that's harder. And by the way, if you don't do those things, you also hate yourself. So if both of them are hard, choose the one that's right for you. If both are going to be hard, choose the one that's going to give you a return on your investment. You know what the key here is? The key is that just in taking that first step, in saying, I'm going to answer now what? You're doing better than 99% of the people on planet Earth, because most people never even try. They never try to answer it, or they sometimes don't even have the awareness to ask the question, now what? And by the way, that works for some people. But by just doing those steps, like me and like so many other people I've come across, they're like, this was one of the greatest things that I ever did for myself in my life. And even just at the very outset of it, by doing it, all of a sudden I got excited about making my life, this time of my life, my turn, and finding the new way forward that was ideal for me.
Learn more ways to enhance your life and discover a new way forward that's perfect for you by watching these videos or any others on my channel. Oh, and be sure to subscribe.